With the first season coming to an end and season 2 being around the corner, let's take a look at the tops and flops of season 1. Flop 5. Gear sets. Arguably, the biggest feature added with season 1 turned into quite a disappointment when the devs decided to monetize it. If you want to do the whole variety of content in New World, you need a lot of different gear sets, and season 1 worsened this problem by adding yet another enemy type you need to gear against. Having to manage up to 30 different sets is a huge problem of the game, and gear sets were the much needed solution to it.
Oh, finally.
However, the devs decided to only hand out 2 slots for free and put 1 in the season pass when you could use up to 30.
Bruh.
Exactly. Top 5. Gear sets.
What?
Even if you're stuck with just 2 or 3 slots, the sheer amount of time and sanity gear sets save is crazy. Sure, this makes the choices around monetizing this feature even more questionable, but the feature itself is a massive improvement to the game. Flop 4. Season Quest. At some point during the quest, you're asked to investigate this cave, and initially you could do so. But after a minor patch, the cave entrance got sealed off by an invisible wall. It took a whole week to reopen the cave and allow players to continue their season quest. Then, 2 weeks later, after another minor patch, the entrance was sealed off again, and the player base actually had to figure out a way to glitch themselves through the rocks just to be able to progress their quest. At the end of the quest line, you finally fight this guy in what was supposed to be the grand finale, and some sort of challenging fight turned into a joke. Because the boss was placed out in the open world, you would end up fighting him with a bunch of other players who were trying to finish their quest, which resulted in the boss dying within like 5 seconds.
The best part is the ending.
Top 4. Storytelling and questing. With the next portion of the main story quest revamped, and also the season quest in parts, there's an improved level of storytelling that we can now expect to be the standard for upcoming content. Every NPC has a voiceover, relevant lore pages get read out, there are more in-game cutscenes as well as pre-rendered ones, and also a bunch of smaller details. For example, NPCs start shouting at you from a distance, or if you talk to an NPC inside a church, his voice now has a reverb.
If you need shelter.
Overall, there's less running around for no reason, and the quests just feel better in general. Flop 3. Leaderboards. Leaderboards are a disaster. First, they were delayed. Then they wouldn't end because season 1 was delayed, and during season 1 they completely bugged out. At the beginning of the spring event, whenever you would teleport to a city or would enter a new area, you would get spammed by these leaderboard notifications, making your whole game completely lag out every single time. And while this was very annoying, the actual problem was that the rewards were given out after just 14 days, when everyone else will have to grind for 90 days to get them. Now, you might say it doesn't matter because it's only a skin and a title, but this invalidates players' achievements. Not only did AGS do nothing about it, no, they didn't even acknowledge that this was a problem. Top 3. Feedback actually changed something. Feedback can be very frustrating for players. For example, you might continuously ask for a new OPR map for 1.5 years, and then the devs sit down in one of the videos and say, "Listen, we heard you, here's your new arena map." But there are a bunch of examples where player feedback actually had a direct impact on the game. Rabbit's Revenge. The last time some players killed thousands of rabbits and got no drop. Now this time you had a guaranteed drop after 200 kills. The end boss of the season quest sucked because it was out in the open world. Now for season 2 it will be instanced. Grinding 90 days for this ugly skin? No, they actually changed it. And maybe one day there will be a new OPR map. Flop 2. Prisoner Quest. At some point around character level 40 of the main story quest, you're asked to kill this boss. But there was an issue with the quest because the boss wouldn't respawn. It took AGS 7 days to fix this extremely complex issue and make the boss respawn. So after the patch, the first player kills the boss and it respawns. But after it respawns, it is now invincible, players can't damage it, and it also starts wandering off for some reason. Well, another 9 days go by until this boss is fixed. And just to put this into perspective, this is not some random side quest. This is the main story quest. You have to do this to progress the game and your character. Just imagine you're a new player coming in with season 1, and after 3 days you reach this part of the main story quest, and then you're stuck for 2.5 weeks. How can something like this take 16 days to be fixed? Top 2. Balance patches. In the past, balancing changes happened every couple of months. Sometimes it took even half a year, and that led to a lot of frustration because if something was utterly broken, it would stay this way for a very long period. And because balance patches were so infrequent, the devs tried to make up for it by balancing all kinds of things at once, often resulting in weapons being overbuffed or nerfed. With Season 1 this has changed for the better. Regular monthly balancing, less changes at once, smaller buffs and nerfs, and additionally at the start of every season, a little overhaul of weapons or skills. And they also make these videos explaining their thoughts behind the balancing. Personally, I think a lot of the changes into and during Season 1 have gone in a good direction, and if the team can keep this up for Season 2 and 3, this can really help keep the PvP side of the game fresh, considering there's no new PvP content coming for a while. Flop 1. Season 1 launch. According to the devs, one of the biggest benefits of the season model is that content gets added in a regular fashion, and that they want to create appointments with players to come back to the game and check out the new stuff. But what if you can't meet the first appointment you make, and then the second, and the third, and the fourth? Season 1 got delayed 4 times, and each time it was by either 1 or 2 days. Somehow they managed to make something that isn't that bad, delaying the launch by 1 week, look very bad by delaying it 4 times. And in fact, it looked so bad that even Scott Lane sat down in a video and said,
I want to personally apologize for the delay.
But that he is also very happy it finally launches. Well, he wasn't happy for very long. A few hours into the release, first reports come in that some players are missing their gear, and more posts get added on the forum of players sharing these screenshots. Everything they had equipped was gone. It wasn't in the gear set storage or the inventory, no, it had vanished. And because the bags had disappeared as well, most players affected by this couldn't even move, because their character was now over encumbered. So the next few days, the devs go through a couple of hundred accounts, manually restoring the gear, and hand out 50,000 marks of fortune to each of the affected accounts, which is like $50 worth of in-game shop currency. What a disaster. Top 1. The best thing about Season 1 is Season 2. Now that the system is in place, the upcoming seasons can refine and build upon it, and for Season 2 there are already a few improvements. The season quest will actually have 2 different end boss fights, and both of them are instanced. The season journey gets additional tasks so that solo players can finish it as well. There will be elite trials utilizing the new raid group function, and with features like transmog and mounts. Wait, hold on, screw this. The best part about Season 1 is the rabbit mask.